Hello. Today we'll be talking to Monica R. Butler, head of the Butler Group, also TV and film producer, and we'll be talking about the forthcoming Gospel Music Hall of Fame today on The Bernie Hayes Show. Well, as promised, I guess that's Monica Butler. Ms. Butler, how are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
Tell us about the Butler Group.
The Butler Group is a full multimedia production company that started here in St. Louis, but then we opened up a branch in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and now I'm back home. Since pandemic, I'm back here and started my production facility.
Oh, that's wonderful. Baton Rouge, huh?
A Baton Rouge.
A red stick.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome. Tell me about the upcoming Gospel Music Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm excited. Years ago, back in 1982, my mom was in a film called Say Amen Somebody. Mm-hmm. And that film was filmed right here in St. Louis in 1982. I was just a kid then. I was about 16 years old, sitting on the front row, just watching my mom in the choir with the O'Neill twins and the Interfaith Choir. And so I'm sitting there and I'm watching all these cameras and the jibs, and I'm so excited really with the production that's going on. My first time really sitting on a film set. And so it was a wonderful experience, but it documented the history of gospel music, with Zella Jackson Price and Willie Mae Ford Smith, again, like the O'Neill twins. And so many of our St. Louis artists was involved. But it also featured Dr. Thomas A. Dorsey, the Barrett sisters out of Chicago. So it was a great documentary film that was put together right here in St. Louis. And I was just proud to be a part. So that started that little bug of gospel music. My mom always kept me going to all the gospel concerts that the O'Neill twins would have. So in growing up, after that, over on North Kings Highway was this old church. And I think it's 500 North Kings Highway. And we used to have gospel concerts there. And so I would frequent that church back in the day with all these gospel concerts. And I even produced my own gospel concert there, working with a gentleman back in the day. I think his name was Steve Hamilton. We were doing Tremaine Hawkins at the time. So many artists have gone through that church, John P. Key, the Hawkins family, we've had right here in St. Louis and appeared right there at that church. So now the church has been sitting for over a decade. And so with it sitting so long, and I came back to St. Louis and see this church vacant, such a beautiful structure, I said, wow, that would be an awesome Gospel Music Hall of Fame.
I think we have a picture of that.
I just thought it. Yeah, that's the church. It's such a beautiful structure. And so I thought about it, and I contacted the Lawrence Group. The Lawrence Group has another subsidiary company called New and Found. So along with my partner, our nonprofit organization, Inspired Lives Foundation, and the Butler Group, we come together and we just started thinking about it, talking about it, reaching out to Zella Jackson Price and different people that we knew, Dello Thetford, Mary Beth Gentry, people that we knew had history in gospel music here to get some advice and some consultation so that they can tell us, some directions we need to go. And so today, being here with you, such a legend in our state, I'm so proud to be sitting here with you, and also proud to have you also as a consultant in this area as well. But just happy to see this happening here in St. Louis. But at the same time, it's long overdue.
Right. You're very kind. Everybody you mentioned, Dello, Mary Beth, all of them are all personal friends of mine.
Yes.
And it was so nice that you came by the National Black Radio Hall of Fame.
It was awesome.
And you saw their pictures in Mother Willie Mae Ford Smith and Columbus Gregory and Cleophas Robinson. A lot of people got, yes, oh yeah. A lot of folks Bill and Virginia White.
Yes.
You know, when Bill and Virginia White opened Curl, that had a lot to do with Say Amen Somebody. And I was fortunate enough to be in on that production also, which is a classic now.
Yes.
And I think everyone who has not seen Say Amen Somebody should go to YouTube and view it
Absolutely.
in its full length.
What did they say it was? Mean to tell me you don't know that? Good news? It's a feeling within. You can't help yourself. I feel like I can fly away. I forget I'm in the world sometimes. I just want to take off.
Can the message in song.
Yes, indeed.
Lord have mercy. And you haven't been the same since.
That's right.
Have mercy.
I know someone who has everything, and he is my everything, and I'm happy just to know that I'm his child.
It's a highway to heaven, but none can walk up there. But the pure in heart, it's a
Now, a lot of folks get confused because they think the National Black Radio Hall of Fame is the same as the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Although we'll work with each other, they are separate entities. So tell us about your future for the Gospel Music Hall of Fame.
Well, because I am a television and film producer, I always thought in my mind that I would actually just make the next version of Say Amen Somebody, because I felt like, yeah, that history was told, but it's so much more that still needs to be told. So that's where my thought process was coming from. But since, you know, you have the Blues Museum, we have jazz museums, we have the Negro League Museum in Kansas City, and you know, so I just felt like we don't have a brick and mortar for a gospel, you know. So not trying to compete with anyone, but just trying to make sure that we educate our people and have something that's sustainable to store our artifacts and things of that sort in our own area where I believe it started.
It's well overdue. And who are some of the artists you'll be featuring in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame?
Oh my God. So to go back, you know, we'll go all the way back as far as Mahalia Jackson, you know, James Cleveland, you know, the Jackson Southerneers, you know, and it's not just I would say, an African-American thing, because we're going to also feature people like Jimmy Swaggart, Sandy Patty. You know, it's other races that have deep roots in gospel music as well. So we're just there to educate. The facility is, like I said, just awesome. It has a beautiful courtyard. We had the Landmark Association come by and do a tour, and a couple of people brought pictures of when they actually got married in that courtyard at that church. And I just want to recreate that so that others can have their weddings there. On the other side, we have a very, very large I want to say it was like a rehearsal hall, but we used to have Bible studies there and things of that sort. But we're going to turn it into a state-of-the-art soundstage so people can come in and record right there at the museum. So we're educating, we're showing a little bit about the history, and then we're uplifting and elevating those that want to get into the genre of gospel music.
I'm so proud to say that James Cleveland and I were in the same choir together when we were children.
Stop.
We grew up together, you know. It's Thorns Gospel Crusaders in Chicago, Illinois. We were.
What?
Yeah, I was 5. My brother was 7, and James was 9 years old.
Well, you still look great, Bernie.
You're very kind. Let me ask you this: how can we reach you and help you?
Well, right now I have a website, and it's mogospel.com. More for more gospel, and Mo for the state of Missouri. I'm happy that this is going to birth right here in the state of Missouri. So mogospel.com is where you can reach me at now. And I believe my telephone number is 314 571-9706. Or you can reach me, give me a call, give me some advice, consult me. I mean, this is a community-driven venture. We are looking for donations. We are looking for any type of help. If you have some old artifacts, you know, something of Willie Mae Forrest Smith, something, with Zella. Zella's still living, but, you know, we're definitely going to put her in our Hall of Fame. She deserves it. You know, and so many others, Ruth Latchison, Michael Latchison singers. We have so much history, Mr. Hayes, you know, here in St. Louis that we can just have a Hall of Fame with just St. Louis people.
No doubt about it. Certainly is well overdue also. Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Do you have a person who answers your phone? I mean, if someone call your number,
absolutely. I have a wonderful young lady who just graduated from University in Chicago in film production, and her name is Dara McClure.
Okay.
So if you cannot reach me, ask for Dara, and she will make sure I get the message, she will help you.
That's wonderful. We're here at the New Life Evangelistic Center. Our address is 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. And Reverend Larry Rice has been here, not at this location, but helping those for more than 50 years.
Yes.
You know, from a downtown location, 1411 Locust Street, we're trying to get that reopened for a day shelter. And we'll be right back with Monica Butler after this.
This is an opportunity that God has given all of us at this time to work together to reopen 1411 Locust, which is so urgently needed at this community. I thank God for Bernie Hayes and for his support and standing with us all these particular years. Now it's so critical that you and I do our part also, as Bernie's been partnering with us here at NLEC TV. We've continued to maintain faith, continue to move forward, and now the doors have been opened. The City of St. Louis has approved our architectural plans. We've been given the go-ahead to make the necessary renovations that are needed. We need some miracles, and that's why I'm asking all of you prayer warriors out there, all of you that are going to use that mustard seed of faith to remove the mountains. There's some mountains. Rich and powerful people who move back in the neighborhood, and they don't want 1411 Locust to open. They'd rather leave the people out on the street to slowly die, starved, used, misused, worked over by drug dealers, alcohol, and everything else. We want this place to be a place of hope for those that have lost all hope. And we want to open the doors, and we can do it. As you prayer warriors, go to God in earnest prayer, knocking on the doors of heaven. When he says, ask, it shall be given you, seek, and you shall find, knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Please continue to pray. Pray that God will just let the financial resources come in so we can make all of these repairs. He'll raise up the dedicated laborers for the harvest, that we will continue to see him do exceedingly abundantly beyond what we can even ask or think. Yes, this is a spiritual battle. The principality and powers are fighting from every direction, but greater is he's in us than he that's in the world. And that's why I'm asking all of you to join us in prayer. Believe God with us. Contact us at New Life Evangelistic Center if you believe that there's people God laid on your heart that we should see. Ask for myself, Larry Rice, or my grandson, Chris Aaron Rice, that we can go visit and share the dream with you, and call us at 314-421-3020. Please pray. Get involved now. We need the body of Christ to arise as we work together to reopen this building for the glory of God.
Welcome back. Monica R. Butler is our guest today. She's the head of the Butler Group, and also she's the thriving force behind what's going to become the Gospel Music Hall of Fame right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Ms. Butler, any particular artist that you want to show that you're going to...
Well, I brought a few old albums with me. I think I got one of the old albums from the Jackson Southerneers.
Oh, man, that's from Jackson, Mississippi. That's Hines County, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, Monica Records there. Yeah.
Absolutely, and you can see with the hairdos, it's back in the day, the curls and all that. But then I also brought in something. I have the O'Neill Twins. The O'Neill Twins. Actually, that's the choir that my mother sang in, which was the interfaith choir right here in St. Louis, Missouri. And that's what they were called, the dynamic O'Neill Twins. So again, very excited to feature them in the Hall of Fame.
Evelyn
And then,
Edgar.
you know, we also have, I believe, Sandy Patty.
Yes, Sandy Patty.
Sandy Patty has been around a long time. And that's an old picture of her. But when I tell you, Sandy Patty is still thriving and singing with that soprano voice. She is definitely rich in my history also of gospel music. So I'm excited about just bringing all the different races together to educate people on gospel music.
So who is Monica R. Butler?
Monica R. Butler is a young lady who was born right here in the city of St. Louis, Missouri. Very, very proud of my city and my state. And I went away. I went to school first at Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Got scholarship money to from ROTC.
That's an HBCU, right?
It's a HBCU.
That's right.
But I went to school here in St. Louis at Cleveland Navy ROTC Academy. And so I got scholarship to go to Southern University. And so I went to that school and, you know, I've been in gospel music all my life. While I'm away at school, I know to get planted in a church. So I joined the church down there called Church Point Ministries. And the pastor there said, listen, church, I just purchased a 24-hour gospel radio station. Anybody in the congregation know anything about radio? And I'd never done radio before, but I used to sit in the studios with Ruby Somerville Dixon and Zella Jackson Price. So I raised my hand. I was like, I know something. It never worked the knob, you know, but I went there and I told them that. So we had our meeting at the church, Bernie. And during that time, I was calling Zella and calling Ruby, saying, okay, so what can I do, you know? And so I think one of them said, well, just we'll send you some albums. We'll send you some things for the radio station. And I was like, okay. And so one day I called my grandmother here in St. Louis, Bernie, and I was so excited to tell her that I'm going to be on radio. And my grandmother said, oh my God, I see you on TV right now. I said, Granny, I said, radio. And so she says, no, you all are on TV. I said, okay, Granny, what are you talking about? And she said, that crying minister. I said, okay, what is my grandmother talking about? So I turned on the television and it was Jimmy Swaggart. And, you know, he just always in tears, you know, and Jimmy Swaggart was on TV and my grandmother was watching that. What she was saying was, I'm watching Baton Rouge, Louisiana on TV right now.
Right.
And that was the Jimmy Swaggart television show. But what she did for me, Bernie, at that time was she sparked something in me to call Jimmy Swaggart's radio station. So I did. I called the radio station and I got a young lady on the phone. And I forget the young lady's name right now, but she invited me to come over and shadow her. And so I asked her what was her position. She said, well, I'm the public affairs director for the radio station. And I said, okay, well, I could come and shadow you. So I went over to that radio station, shadowed her, and learned how to do FCC quarterly reports and things of that sort. So now I'm going back to my church with all of this knowledge of how to do and be a public affairs director for a radio station. And so I worked with her and shadowed her for probably about 4 or 5 months. And maybe in the 6th or 7th month, she called and she said, Monica, I have a package here for you. And I said, okay. So I didn't know what it was. I thought they was going to pay me some money, you know. So I go back to pick up the package and it was my license. This young lady said because they were an FCC radio station, it was my FCC license for being trained there. So that was the start of me being in radio. And so then I was a member of the Gospel Music Workshop of America with the Gospel Announcers Guild. I started getting all these records and albums, and my church thought I was just the best.
That's wonderful.
So
Ruby,
that's kind of how it started.
Ruby Somerville Dixon's, her daughter's is quite a star now also, you know. She's
She
performing. Yeah,
is.
yeah.
They call her Silky Soul,
The red
Afro
right.
Queen.
That's
you
right.
know, and so she
That's
sings
right.
a little gospel, jazz, and blues.
Yes, she does. And we're very, very, very close. And Zella Jackson Price and I are still very, very, very close friends. And I just know that this Gospel Music Hall of Fame is going to be successful.
It
Anyway,
has to be successful because I look to people like yourself for guidance.
Well,
Mr.
that's very
Hayes,
kind
you
of you.
are amazing. So just looking to you for guidance and you offering your support it warms my heart.
What's the target date for opening the museum?
2024.
Okay.
2024. We want to do it right. We're working with the Lawrence Group, who built the Foundry here in St. Louis, right by the IKEA off of Vanderventer and Forest Park. If you haven't visited the Foundry Food Hall, you need to go and check it out. And not just check it out for what they have, but the quality of what he did with that old warehouse. So I was sure that he can come into this church structure and make it what we need it to be to last for generations.
Tell us about the exhibits and displays you'll be having.
Well, actually, you know, now we're in this new age. You know, these kids, they're TikToking and Instagramming and Facebooking. And so we're going to have some animation going on in there that helps you with the history of gospel music and bring it to the now. So the then to the now. And so that will be going on. Some LED experience things will be going on. So it's going to be an exciting venture.
You know, the gospel music, we started off, we talk about with the quartets, you know, from years ago, back in the 40s and the 50s.
Absolutely.
And yet still, Yolanda Adams and so forth, and John P. Key, they're doing modern music. How do you compare that, and will all that be included
Well,
in the
you
museum?
know, it's something for everybody. You know, some people like gospel, some people like contemporary, some people like, you know, all the different genres.
Sure.
You know, but I would tell you, again, that's another rich history that we have. I remember the old Baptist building here in St. Louis. It's tore down now, but, you know, all of the quartets with Leora Daniels and Ruby Somerville Dixon, it was just fabulous. So we're just excited to still do what we're doing here.
It's going to be a wonderful experience. The Gospel Music Hall of Fame going to be here. 2024 is the target date. It's going to be a wonderful thing. Don't forget now, we're at New Life Evangelistic Center, 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. And we can use your help and support. Any donation that you give to us is naturally tax deductible. We're a 501c3 non-profit. And Larry Rice, for over 50 years, we've been helping those in need. We'll be right back with Monica R. Butler after this.
As we celebrate 50 years of God's faithfulness, how I thank God for all the years that we've been able to work side by side with Bernie Hayes. What a blessing this man has been, and what a blessing all of you all have been as you've continued to partner with New Life Evangelistic Center so we can feed the hungry, shelter the homeless, reach out and be a family to those that have no family at all. Now, as we're celebrating 50 years of God's faithfulness, I'm asking you to pray that we can get back into 1411 Locust at this particular moment. It was such a hideous crime when rich folks move in the neighborhood, shut that building down and put the homeless on the street. So many are suffering out there. Now, if you'd like myself or my grandson, Chris Aaron, to come and share with your church or business or group, please call us at 314-421-302. Yes, we're celebrating 50 years of God's faithfulness, thanking God for Bernie Hayes and all of his supporters and all of you that have been praying. The door's open now. We want to move into 1411 Locust. We've got to complete the work. Through your prayers, through your involvement, we can make a difference. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri.
Today's Black History subject is Reese Goose Tatum, a professional baseball and basketball player. Tatum was born May 31st, 1921 in El Dorado, Arkansas. By the time he was 16 years old, he was playing professional baseball among Negro League teams. Tatum also had a professional basketball career beginning in 1942 when he signed with the Harlem Globetrotters. Tatum was credited with being one of the first professional basketball players to perfect the hook shot and score more than 50 points in a game. At the time of his retirement in 1953, Tatum was making $53,000, which made him the highest paid athlete in professional basketball. Reese Goose Tatum died from a heart attack on January 18, 1967, at the age of 45. In 1974, he was introduced into the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame. In 2002, his jersey was retired from the Harlem Globetrotters, and in 2011, he was elected to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Reese Goose Tatum.
Prayer is so important to the life of Christians, and it helps us grow as a community and seek to love others better. Prayer changes us from the inside out. We need to pray boldly, confidently that God hears us, that He desires us to pray, and that He's going to extend the grace and the power and the strength to answer our prayers as we invite Him into active aid in the problems that we see in the world around us today. You make a difference when you pray. Please pray for New Life Evangelistic Center as we seek God working in the midst of the homeless, the hurting, the broken, as we see God working in Ukraine and around the world. We need your prayers. Please go to the Lord in prayer. Invite Him into active aid. You make a difference. Pray.
Hello, I'm Larry Rice, and I'm inviting you to join me daily on the New Life Facebook page. Something new, something exciting every day. So go to facebook.com/newlifestl and discover what's happening on a daily basis as New Life Evangelistic Center begins to share with you a wide variety of subjects.
Welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. Monica R. Butler, are you a singer? Will you be performing in the concerts there at the new Gospel Music Hall of Fame?
Oh my God, I used to sing. Dello Thetford started me out years ago back at Progressive Baptist Church. I sang in the choir there and did a lot of theatrical little plays with Dello. So I grew up singing. As I got older and started getting more into film, I noticed and it made me know that I wanted to be more behind the scenes. I wanted to be behind the camera to make the action happen, so to speak. So, no, I don't sing anymore, but definitely producing and film production is what I love to do.
I see Bobby Jones, Merdine Gales, Dello Thetford, Mary Beth Gentry. There's so many that we can just rattle right off who are icons in the gospel industry, the gospel music industry. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you want to tell us about?
Well, I used to work with Bobby Jones. I still do when I can work with Bobby Jones Gospel as a producer as well. The Word Television Network with several different pastors. I've worked with the Stella Awards, the Dove Awards. And so I've been around this industry for a number of years. So I'm excited to come back home here in St. Louis to do what we're doing with the Gospel Music Hall of Fame Entertainment and Educational Center that is going to be. So I'm loving the fact that the community is really getting involved. Even the heart of where this church sits in a historic district called Holy Corners. And what better thing to have in Holy Corners than the Gospel Music Hall of Fame? We're getting great support from the Landmark Association, from the Central West End Association, different neighborhood people that are writing in, sending their letters of support, politicians, things of that sort. So we're just excited about the community saying, yes, this is needed. So I'm, again, just excited. For me, I want to see that whole area redeveloped and become a gospel plaza.
How can we reach you?
I can be reached at 314-571-9706, or you can go to our website at www.mogospel.com.
And there's particular hours at any, are this limited to certain hours? Can they call you 24 hours a day?
They could call 24/7. It'll go to voicemail and we'll check it.
All right. Okay. So the opening date, target date is 2024. Monica R. Butler, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming by and how all the wonderful wishes that are in my heart and everybody else's heart for you in Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
And we'll be here next week. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for supporting the Bernie Hayes Show and the New Life Evangelistic Center. We're 2428 Woodson Road, Overland, Missouri, 63114. Reverend Larry Rice, more than 50 years have been here helping you and supporting you, and now it's time for you to help and support him. I'm Bernie Hayes. Have a great day. Continue to support in LEC TV, channel 24.2. Have a great day.